Okay, welcome back. What we're doing today, I'm going to drain the hub oil out of this is the front driver's side. When I picked up the truck, I don't know if you saw in one of my videos or pictures, this was pure water in here that came out, and this hub was running probably 20 degrees hotter than the rest. So I drained it in the desert when I picked the truck up and put fresh oil in it, brought it home, drained it again. It was still really milky. It looked like a milkshake. So this will be the third change, and I'm curious to see what the fluid looks like coming out. The only reason I'm filming this, I got a tip on the orientation of your drain and fills, and so we'll go ahead and get started. So this is pretty simple. This is a quarter Allen, and I'm gonna just break this loose real quick. And then I'll kind of show you the setup. Is just this is a little hokey, but it works. So it's just I don't know. Yeah, you can kind of see that. It's just a funnel held up with a bungee cord to hold it. What'll happen is the oil, as it runs down the hub, will kind of dribble down on the inside. So the funnel will kind of help with that. So actually, I'm gonna pop this loose first. That way it's not airlocked and it can breathe. Oh, this is already going to be milky. Yeah, so I'm glad I'm changing this. It's not, oh, it's running out already. Oops. So, oh, you know what I didn't tell you is I've got this truck jacked up. Let me get a rag real quick. Guess we're going to use an old shirt. I've got the truck jacked up, and I'll show you what that's for in a minute. We lost the drain plug in the funnel. All right, well, we'll have to get that out. Let me pull this camera around. So one of the reasons I've got the truck jacked up is so I can move the, you know what? Let me pause this. All right, we're back. I'm using my phone to record this, and I got a phone call. So anyway, it's draining. What I was explaining was I jacked the truck up. You see I got a bottle jack under there, and that is so I can rotate this and get this in the orientation I want. And as you can see, yeah, so it's still milky. So this isn't going to be its last change. I've driven this probably 200 miles, maybe 300 on this fluid, and so we'll be doing this again. It's not that big of a deal. It's like 1.5 quarts of oil. So, but yeah, definitely needs to be changed. So hard to tell on camera, but that plug is sitting a little bit this way. So rather than, I like to jack the truck up and do it. You can just drive it around back and forth until you get it perfect. But when we fill it, you'll see later, we're not going to fill it in this orientation. We're going to spin it. So I'm not going to bore you with watching that drain. I'll pause this and we'll come back. All right, so we're gonna let that drain out of that hub. While I've got the bucket of gear oil out, I might as well change this front diff oil. If you saw the other video, this came out milky, and I've got probably 150 miles on this oil. So we might as well change it. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, someone put this on tight. Now I didn't pull the fill drain plug, so it's just gonna glug out. It's not terrible. It's like 6 in the morning right now. It's freezing cold out, and so this oil's pretty thick, and the light is coming in the garage weird, so it's blowing it out. But I'm gonna get a rag. We'll watch that drain. All right, so I'm gonna get a little sample of this in a white clean cup so I can see it better, because this light coming in is kind of making it look funky. You just got to make sure you get all the iced tea out of your cup, because it'll throw off the color of it. All right, so that's probably good. We'll pull the fill cap out, because we got to pull it out anyway. You see that? Yeah. So you have to use an extension on that to get this plug out. So this is one of the bottom plugs that has a magnet in it. Let's see, can you see any of that? Yeah, so there's no metal on it. Shouldn't be. But, all right, so that's probably good. We'll put that cap back in. Well, that light is really terrible coming in. Let's see if I can spin it around. There we go. And actually, there's a bunch of metal. Oh, I should have filmed that. Now that light's gonna be all blown out. You can probably see a little bit. This has got a fair amount of metal on it still, so yeah, I might be changing this again. All right, well, we'll put that in for now. I'm laying on freezing cold concrete. Alright, so we'll get this out of here. Changing the hub oil is not very expensive. It's like $1.50. Changing this is like 3 gallons, so it gets kind of expensive. That's good. Let's go see what the hub oil's doing. All right, so hub oil's still draining a little bit, and we'll let that go. Here's what I mean about the clear cup. You can kind of see the condition of the oil. It's still got some water in it, and you know, it's probably $75 each time you change that diff oil, so not sure what I'll do there, but anyway, that's probably good for now on this draining, because I'm going to I'm definitely going to change this one again. So let me set this, see if I can set this back up. Yeah, there you go. So we'll pop this off. This is really hokey, but it worked. Now I got to get that drain. It's still leaking. Rag go. Yeah, so without that funnel, you end up just making a complete mess. No, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to put that in. I'm sorry. That's the whole point of this video. So this is why I jack it up, because now when you fill it, I'm going to fill it like this. As well as that come up. Yeah, so I'm going to fill it here. Okay, let me take it back. If you fill it like that, and you're using the bucket pump, okay, and you've got this in here, as you pump it in, you're displacing the air, and it's airlocked, so the air ends up pushing back out here, which ends up dumping a bunch of oil out. So, and then you just fill it to that line, and then it dribbles out anyway. What I found is if you rotate it to here and you fill it, gravity's working. You're gonna, all the air, you know, as you fill this up with oil, the air is gonna be displaced out of here, and your oil is just gonna run down. It's kind of less of a mess. It still makes a little mess, but quite a bit less. So it's so cold, I don't know if this oil will flow very well. We'll see. I always too, oil's so cheap, I always just purge it just a little bit, get any dust that was in there out. That's still going to dribble out. I damaged this tip. It's not round anymore. It's like a square, and it's not, doesn't make a good enough seal. So, oh well, I guess we're just going to go for it. Dang, what a mess. Jeez, is there any way to do this without it making a mess? Alright, you know what? I got an idea. I'm going to pause this. Alright, how about that? Little electrical tape seal. I just kind of made it fatter so when it pushes in, and I put a tiniest little taper on it, so push that in, see what happens. Oh yeah, it's still leaking a little, but that's much better. That's the trick right there. Okay, so it's starting to ooze out here. So, yeah, this is just a mess. All right, and that is, yeah, that's about right. All right, I'm gonna pause it. Okay, so now we're on the passenger side. If you remember from one of the other videos, this hub is brand new. It's only got probably 150 miles on it. Changing the oil on it's probably way unnecessary, but it was packed with all that Cosmoline that they ship it with, and I cleaned it all out as best I could, but you can't get it all out. So for the cost of a quart and a half of oil, it's well worth me changing it. So we got the, I'm gonna have to move this camera. The hardest part is setting up the camera, especially on this side. It's real tight on this side of my garage, but setup's the same, jacked up, and that way we can, I wish I had another set of helping hands here to hold this camera, but so that's set up so you can roll the wheel around. And hopefully you can see all this because I can't see the viewfinder. But it's going to be the same thing. So we're going to take the, at this point it's basically a vent out. So the other cool part, you can roll this around. This is going to dribble out if I left it in that position. So at there it won't leak. This is the pretty odd setup, but it works. So let's see where am I going to put this one. I had a funnel that was specially cut out for this, but I ran it over and it broke. So just have to hold it there. Yeah, you know what, this, I'll get you in here to look, but this oil is not all that nice either. So I drained the, that's nasty too. I drained this bucket, and it's kind of a light gray, so it kind of gives a good contrast against the oil. But so this is just the normal amber colored gear oil, and that is that's not all that good looking. So we'll be changing this again. But yeah, so see how that orientation, I rotated this one up so it wouldn't dribble out, and it still did. But now, rather than start the truck up, take, have a spotter, check where it's at, you can just roll this. And let's see, right there's about 90 degrees. So, well, we'll be changing that. Anyway, we'll check back when I go to fill it. All right, so we're ready to start filling this up. It's just about done draining. Normally I would let this kind of just drain overnight, get it all out, but since I'm going to be changing this again, might as well just fill it up. So I kind of did the same thing. I took a sample in this white cup, and you can see it's dark. So I hope that's just kind of all the cosmoline coming off the gears that are in there. But so I'll try to set this camera back up. So just a reversal of what we did before. So the cool part about the truck being jacked up is you can rotate it, and then that'll stop draining. Oops. So take that off. And we'll rotate that around. And then keep rags ready, because this is going to start dribbling out. Alright, so that's starting to dribble, so I'm going to rotate it. And clean this cap off. Oh, these do have little, I don't know if you can see that, it's got a little magnet pressed in there, so. Alright, so a little cleanup, that work's done. There's that bucket pump again. Mine leaks like crazy, so I gotta keep this rag around it. Anyway, that job's done. I'll go ahead and fill the center diff up, and I'll drive it another couple hundred miles and check it all again. Anyway, hope that helps somebody out. Thanks. Alright, well, I was gonna end the video there, but I've got a little bit of extra time, and I might as well go ahead and change this transfer case oil again. So this will be the second drain. The first time I drained it, it was pretty watery. So again, I've got about probably 150 miles on this oil. So I'm not really changing it because it's, worn out fluid. It had water in it. So curious to see what it's going to look like now. So this is going to be like the choppiest video ever, but oh well. So I'm going to pull the fill plug first so that it drains a little bit faster. It's really cold out still, so oh boy, someone over tightened this. Wonder who the last guy did this was. This is a 1 1/16. All right, so there's the fill plugs out. I gotta learn to not over tighten these. All right, moment of truth here. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so that's not so bad. It's definitely kind of opaque where it's not completely see-through, but and then while that's draining, yeah, there's still, let's see if I can see that. There's still some, so that's more metal than I'd like to see after 150 miles, but that's why we're doing this. In fact, there's you know what else I might do is rather than drain all the fluid a third time, although I've got a 5-gallon bucket of this 40 weight oil, and it only takes 6 quarts per change, so there's a magnet on that. What I might do, and what you guys can do if you want, is just pull this out, put your finger in there to plug it, or find a suitable plug. Pull this out, put your finger in there to block it, wipe the magnet off, and if you just drain off what's in the bottom, that'll kind of get the majority of any of the chunky stuff out. So all in all, that fluid doesn't look all that bad. I don't know what a normal amount of metal should be for 150 miles, but it's definitely more than I want to see. So we'll let that drain out and we'll fill it up. In fact, I'll do the same thing, is kind of take a sample in the white cup and we'll take a look and see what that looks like. Smells fine. I don't know how much, I can't see the viewfinder of the camera, but it's pretty normal looking. Looks like there is a little bit of, like I said, it's kind of opaque, meaning that there's some water in it, but all in all, it's not so bad. So I think we're done there. Again, in the future, I might just pull this out, drain a quart or two out, check the magnet in the future, but for now, I think that looks okay. So I'm going to use the same pump from the gear oil, and I've drained this whole line out, but what I'll do is just kind of purge just a little bit out so I'm not getting, you know, if there's a little bit of gear oil left in that line, it'll clear that out. And we'll start pumping. So there it comes. Probably don't need to over tighten that, so. All right. That's all done. On to the next thing.